Hello, my name is Bradley, and I'm your host of The Internal Game. So, I've let you guys know that back in the day, and not too long ago back in the day, in the grand scheme of things, I used to be pretty chaotic. Lived in a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. Um, Definitely 100% thought that like something out there was gonna finally give me the safety and security that I needed. Um, with that being said, I was trying to manipulate the outside a lot. I was always in my head thinking, oh, well, if this person does that, then that means this, and then I'm gonna have to do this over here. I'm gonna have to move this from this over this way, because I don't want to be seen as this, and if this happens, that it just always was like that. I was always like that. And I remember one time calling an old mentor of mine, and I was like, man, this is going on. I got this going on, this over here, and if this happens, then I'm kind of fucked. And da 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 da, and this person's doing this, da 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 da. And he was like, Brad, are you finding yourself in a hole? I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say, pretty much. And he said, okay, well, quit digging. And I tell you what, it wasn't like I all of a sudden changed my life at that point. It wasn't like I was like, oh, there's this big epiphany. But it did give me this visual, and I understood exactly what he was saying. Like I did. I got it. I was like, wow, like, yeah. Like I just pictured myself holding the shovel, just digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. That's like I just saw it. And started this or later on, obviously I did make some changes, and I got this YouTube journey. It's something I see a lot. I see a lot of myself in everyone, actually. Everyone is me, you know. But like I see the fear. I see the scrambling, the the fear of losing things, the fear of not getting things, fear of not being enough, the fear of like just basically projecting these really fearful future, perceived future scenarios, and resisting the idea, and just completely digging a hole for themselves. And I also see the fear that like that comes upon people because it was the same for me at one time, that if I drop everything, if I don't focus on everything and just focus on me, like I'm gonna lose it. I'm not gonna get it. It's not gonna be a thing, you know. And it's actually the opposite. It's the opposite. And when you think about it, I mean, I know I've mentioned this before, but that fear of losing, that fear of actually putting the attention on self and getting your state of being stable, and not wanting to do that because of the fear that you're going to lose something, is exactly why you're in this hole in the first place. And you have the shovel. You can stop digging anytime. But the only way you're going to stop digging is if you really drop these things for a while, because sometimes we can get ourselves and just so caught up and we got this momentum of this like fearful, chaotic state of being, and we're just like, nope, I gotta manipulate the outside. I gotta do this. So and so still doing this. Bank's still looking like this. All this stuff. Da, 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 da. And sometimes you just like the best thing for you to do is to just stop. Just stop. Like stop thinking about getting a person for a second. Stop thinking about the money for a second. Stop thinking about everything for a second, because that's why you're like, if you're not stable, it's a good idea to stop digging. Um, I think it's Alan Watts that said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." Sometimes you just have to be still and know that you're God, and really like get still first. Like just get still, stop digging the hole, and just be like, you know what? Okay, clearly what I've been doing is number one, putting myself in a really, really unfavorable state. This does not feel good. I do not like this. Like nothing good is going to come from this. Number two, what do I do from here? Because it's my promise to you that if you focus on the solution, if you focus on getting stable, if you focus on being there for yourself, if you focus on getting this right, the outside will take shape. And that includes people, money, all that stuff. But you have to stop digging, and you have to stop being so fearful that you're gonna lose these things. Like, and please stop fearing the thoughts. I did a one-on-one yesterday, and I'm so glad that we were talking about what we were talking about, and she said, I forgot what I said, but she's like, yeah, because like when I'm telling myself something positive or something more favorable of this story that I like of this end over here, it seems like I'm not doing it enough. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, like I gotta do more. She's like, but if I get one negative thought, I get scared because I'm like, oh, that's gonna manifest. And I just remember being like, yeah, like that's the chaotic state of being, to be walking around all the time being like, oh, is that enough? Like I have to affirm more over here, and then like something unfavorable pops up in your head. You're like, oh no, I gotta fight that because like, what if that manifests? Like, and then did I do this enough? What about this? Like just living chaotically like that. And I don't want to sit here and scare anybody because like that's not what I'm here to do. But I am here to be real with you, and from how I believe in my experience, like you can keep digging the hole lower and lower and lower. You can. I've seen this. Like I've seen it with my own life for sure. I've seen it in people that I've talked with. Like, remember the video I made that was like everything's just a sign telling you to go within, to choose you, And sometimes that sign gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes the little circumstances seem more dire. Like it's all telling you, hey, you need to go within. You need to get stable. You need to put your trust in yourself. And you need to, most importantly, stop digging this hole. But it's all coming from fear. It's all coming from you thinking that the outside has something to do with how you feel. And that like once these things happen, then you'll feel better. Once you get personal, once the money comes in, you feel safe, like all these things. And it's the opposite. The more you feel insecure in here, the more you, like, you hear me say this all the time, the more unstable you are in here, like, that's what's reflected back. And you're playing a really, really shaky game, and it'll continue as long as you're playing it. You have to like really, really get this under control. Like if you're honest and you're spiraling a lot and you're really focused on outside, you really focus on that and need it to be different. Where's it at? And how come this is like this? I don't like this, and resisting. If you're there, you really have to get a good look. Like, what does your state of being even feel like? Like, that that's not solid, and everyone else feels that from you too. Everyone. The person that you want feels that from you. The money that you want feels that from you. Like all these things that it just feels it from you because it is you. And it responds to you. So sometimes it's not about just flipping all these thoughts and being more chaotic. Sometimes it's just about stopping for a second. Regrouping. Okay. Dug the hole. It's okay. Now I'm going to imagine myself out. Now I'm going to from a very solid state of being. Even though the state of being itself would get you out. Because it'd be a whole different reality. That's what I mean by getting you out. You're not fighting to claw out of this hole. You're literally going to change your state of being, and then the hole vanishes, right? But for image sake, you're going to get out of the hole. But you can't do that if you keep digging. Like, I know that you guys like your people. I know you guys want this specific amount of money, all this stuff, like, but none of that stuff is like, and fearing it and fearing of losing it and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with out. It has nothing to do with out there. That out there is a reflection of you. It has nothing. I promise, nothing to do with this person or anything that you think that has to change. It has nothing to do with that. You dug yourself here. You created this with your state of being and your assumptions and how you just how you view things. Mainly self. And it doesn't have to go on. But like, you got to stop being so fearful that you're going to lose these things, because like what you're doing is you're losing stability. Like you've already lost stability, and that's the most important thing, that you do not need to lose that. You're God. Don't need to fear you, right? So again, stop digging. Like, please trust me on this. If you trust me, you'll end up trusting you. If you trust me on this, if you just drop it for a little while, focus on getting yourself stable, focus on being there for yourself, not saying things that go against yourself, not thinking things that go against yourself, not treating yourself with respect, doing things that you like to do, not putting yourself through the torment of a bunch of negative thinking, accept the thought, like, okay, whatever, so be it. Not creating a bunch of inner resistance and inner chaos, because that is reflected out there. But like, that's the least of your worries. You doing that to yourself is the issue, because that's out there's just reflection. So stop digging the hole. Stop being scared that you're gonna lose things. You're not losing things. Things are you. That means you can't lose them. You can't. They're like, you cannot lose them. They are you, the person, the money, like all that stuff. Everything is you, dudes and dudettes. You can't lose it. How the fuck are you gonna lose it when it's you? But like, if you don't get this right, then these things that you think you're gonna lose are going to stay where they're at. Maybe even drift a little further. Doesn't necessarily matter. Still not the issue. Here is, right? Right here is you. And because you're gonna change you, because you're going to stop putting yourself through a bunch of unnecessary chaos and get still and know that you're God and stop digging this hole, because you're going to do that, then you'll start to see the byproduct change. But the best part about the whole thing is you realize that you don't need to do that to yourself. You don't need to torment yourself. You don't need to keep digging this hole from fear. Like, there's nothing to fear. So that's pretty much all I got. Please remember, you're not losing anything. You're not. It's you. So, that being said, if you found yourself in a hole, stop digging. Be still. Know that you are God. And from there, imagine another way. That's all I got. See you guys tomorrow, probably.